Our Bible text is Exodus 20, an excerpt of verse 12. Honor your father and your mother. So we, in the midst of the Ten Commandments, also known as the Decalogue, we find also another version of it in Deuteronomy 5, the verses 6 to 21. And specifically, this one is where it focuses now on interpersonal relationships. And in our church tradition, it is the fourth commandment. Various churches number the commandments in different ways, but for us, this is the fourth commandment. And it deals with the family, specifically how children should regard their parents. Honor your father and your mother. We must understand that in the ancient world, in Israel specifically, the family was really the center point of life. Because from the family, you gained your identity, that you belong to the people of Israel, and it determined many other things. What you do in life, your inheritance, etc., and your marriage prospects, things like that. And if we look on screen, the first aspect we'll focus on is that families were patriarchal. So there was the father who was a supreme authority, firstly over his wife or wives. In the time of Jesus, there isn't really much evidence for polygamous marriages. But in the ancient time, if you look at Abram and the patriarchs, there was polygamy. So the father could have had more than one wife. But part of the household also was the sons and their wives, which means that the family at the time was also patrilocal. In other words, if the wife, she moves out of her parents' house and into the house of her husband. So she becomes embedded now in that new household where that father will be also, in a sense, in charge of her. Part of the households also daughters, grandchildren, if there are any extended family, even non-kin if they stay there, and also servants and slaves. And that whole household was called the Bet Ab, or house of the father. So, but it's patriarchal, where the father's in charge over everybody. He's the supreme authority. But interestingly, the commandment says, honor your father and your mother. So even though the father was the supreme head, also the mothers in this context, the wives, are also elevated in a way. All honor, or the necessary honor, is also due to them. Also, another aspect is that the ancient household or families were patrilineal. So in other words, the bloodline is traced through sons of male descendants. And that's where genealogies also become very important. I mean, there are some parts in the Bible where there's these genealogies, and son of so-and-so, and he was son of so-and-so, etc., etc. And maybe for us it's extremely boring, but in the ancient world, in the Israelite context, it's very important because your lineage determined really who you are. Your honor, your family. Your honor is like your reputation, your social reputation. It also determines your marriage prospects, the kind of work or what you can do. For example, if you're a priest, the lineage of a priest, you can serve as a priest in the temple. Of course, it also affects other things like inheritance, whatever it may be. So the ancient family was patriarchal. It was also patrilocal, where the wife of the son will move into the household, and also it was patrilineal. And the family was at the center of life. Because the Bible, if you read a lot of the Old Testament, the laws, things that happen, it's about preserving the family on its land. So the successive generations will stay on the land, they will inherit the land, because it was mainly an agricultural society. It's about planting and harvesting crops, and there's also livestock, a little bit that they looked after. But it was essentially about preserving the family on its land and the integrity of the family, that can continue from generation to generation. So if we look at that chart again, the family is at the center, if you read specifically the Old Testament. And also how the family and its relationship with God, also the family's relationship with the land, and of course also the family's relationship to broader Israel, or the people. So the family is central. Many laws in the Old Testament speak to the needs of the family. Even the Ten Commandments also, that you shall not commit adultery, things like that. It's really about protecting the family. Again, the Decalogue or the Ten Commandments, it addresses mainly male households, but yeah, we can also see specifically addresses the children. So it's more of an intergenerational commandment also. Honor your father and your mother. And the root word of the Hebrew, honor, it means to be heavy. So to honor your father and mother, it's a heavy thing in the sense of importance. This is something that you must really do. And to honor your father and mother, it extended through all their lives. And this encompassed obedience during youth, also respect through adulthood, also support in old age, then also the preservation of the family dignity after death. So it was very important, especially for the oldest son, to give his parents a dignified burial, all the necessary ceremonies that had to be made. Of course, the Old Testament also speaks of some crimes that children did where they must be put to death. If you go read Exodus 21, the verses 15 and 17, if you strike your mother, if there's physical abuse against them, you must be put to death. If you curse your mother or father, you must be put to death. So this was really a very important commandment because it preserves the family, the basic social unit of family life back then in the day. This commandment is also unique because it's the only one that's accompanied by a promise. If you look at that chart again, because part of the family's relationship is with the land. And if we go to Exodus 20 verse 12, we can see the land also playing a prominent role there. Again, it says, honor your father and your mother. So what's this promise, this covenantal promise that accompanies it? That your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. So upon the land, it's broader, Israel, the promised land, but specifically it also refers to, your plot of land that you own as a family. And that must be passed on from generation to generation. So if you honor your father and your mother, that continuity, your relationship with the land will continue. So the only commandment here that comes with a promise, that your relationship with the land, God will look after it and safeguard your relationship with that land. Now, if you look at Jesus, he also endorses this commandment. If we go to Mark 10 verses 19, that's where the rich young man comes to Jesus and asks him what I must do to eternal life. And Jesus lists the commandments there. And one of them is honor your father and your mother. And of course, the rich man said, well, that's what I've kept. But then Jesus also adds to the commandment, says, well, that's good. Now sell what you have, follow me. So, of course, everything in the Old Testament from a Christian perspective in some way points to Jesus. So Jesus respects this commandment that this young man, he instructs this young man, honor your father and your mother. Another part in Mark, if we go to chapter 7, verses 9 to 13, there Jesus criticizes the Pharisees because he criticizes them that with your tradition, you nullify God's law because their children, they could have dedicated money or wealth to the temple. It's called Korban, if you go read that passage. So even if you haven't given it to the temple yet, so you have some money or wealth stashed somewhere, and you say that's Korban. In other words, it's dedicated to the temple. And that means I don't have to help you financially or support you with that wealth or money. Because now it belongs to the temple. I can't help you, mom, dad, with that. So it was an escape, a way to escape your responsibility to look after your parents in their old age or when they need it. And Jesus criticized them specifically for that. If we go to Mark 7, if we read from verse 9, Jesus says there, all too well you reject the commandment of God, that you may keep your tradition. For Moses said, honor your father and your mother. Then Jesus says, but you say, whatever I owe you is now korban. In other words, I'm owe it to the temple. I can't give it to you. So it was a way of escaping that financial obligation to your parents. So Jesus endorses this commandment, the fourth commandment, to honor your father and your mother, because it protects the very important social unit of the family.